During an appearance this week to try to downplay Donald Trump's horrific performance at Tuesday night's debate, his campaign spokesperson, Caroline Leavitt, went on CNN, opposite host John Berman, and Berman decided to confront Leavitt with all of the snap polls taken after the debate, showing that Donald Trump, of course, got his butt kicked by Vice President Harris. Here's how Berman started it off. In the CNN snap poll after the debate, a large majority said that they believe that Kamala Harris turned in the better performance. You called it a success for Donald Trump. 63% said she had the better performance. 37% say Donald Trump. This is actually a Republican audience here, 4 points more Republican than actually registered voters. So what do you make of that? All right, so before I read you Leavitt's response, again, she is a Donald Trump campaign spokesperson. Even Berman admitted that, hey, we oversampled Republicans, which is a weird thing to admit, but, it shows that, hey, if anything, this poll is skewed more towards Donald Trump, and they still thought he did bad. So how are you going to spin this, Leavitt? What do you make of it? Berman says. And she kind of malfunctioned a little bit and said this. The audience also said that they trust President Trump more to handle the economy than they do Kamala Harris, and his support on the issue of the economy actually increased after last night's debate because he outlined the problems people are experiencing at home, the 50% increase in mortgage rates and 50% increase in gas prices since Harris has been vice president, and how these were not an issue in American lives under his leadership. Voters trust Trump on the issues that matter to them. That was proven in the CNN poll. I think President Trump was defending himself from attacks and lies from Kamala Harris that unfortunately were not fact-checked by the moderators in the debate. They fact-checked President Trump 5 times. First of all, the CNN poll did not find that. In fact, no poll found that. No poll showed that Donald Trump was more trusted on these issues following the debate. They actually showed the opposite. And there's a segment coming up later today where I will get more in depth into those polls. But she's lying her face off because she wasn't prepared to have to answer the tough questions. And then after she says, well, the moderators, they were biased. They fact-checked Trump 5 times. Oh, 5 times. Oh, dear. And Berman wasn't having any of that garbage. And he responded and he said, I will say one thing. Tim Alberta writes for The Atlantic, used to write for the conservative National Review. He said, quote, one way to look at it, ABC moderators fact-checked Trump 2 to 3 times and Harris 0 times. Another way to look at it, ABC moderators fact-checked Trump 2 to 3 times instead of 500 times. Yeah, which is what should have happened. But even Berman's like, okay, you want to talk about moderators? We'll talk about moderators for a minute, and I'll use a conservative's argument to do it with you. They could have just fact-checked him after every word he spoke, and they didn't. Even CNN's own fact-check of the debate, by the way, found that there was only one thing that Harris said that needed to be corrected by them. One thing, according to Daniel Dale at CNN. Donald Trump had dozens. Dozens! So, why didn't they fact-check her? Because she didn't need it. Your guy did, and he needed it 10 times more than what they did. Leavitt's not very good at this, but she's all the campaign has. They've actually got a couple other spokespeople that somehow are worse than her, so she is the best that they have. And if this is the best you can do, whining about the moderators instead of admitting, listen, it wasn't a great debate, but we can bounce back and we'll be fine. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say. But they can't even accept that reality, and it is going to lead them to electoral doom in November. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.